Welcome back to Nightcap Chat, the pop culture podcast. We talk all things comic books, video games, movies, TV shows, and more. Today, we are celebrating Nightcap Chat's 1 year anniversary as a podcast. I'm Blade O'Neill.
I'm Ken Brown.
I'm Lance O'Neill.
And here we are. Can you guys believe it has been 1 year?
Wow.
It's crazy. Really. It was quick. It was really quick.
Yep. This is episode 48 or 49. Usually, I mean, we aim for 50 episodes in a year, but what a year it has been. And would you have guessed that a year ago we'd be sitting here in quarantine from an outbreak?
I hope not. I hope we wouldn't have guessed this.
Yeah, I didn't plan on that last year when we started this build.
Yeah. But hey.
Checklist, quarantine. Yes, got it.
Finally did it. But
bucket list.
Here's a good thing that came out of it is we figured this out. Yes. And this isn't too bad, actually. Like this, it forced us to figure this out. And this has been working out.
It's working pretty good so far. I don't even have a microphone. I could pretend this red bottle's my microphone for you guys. That looks like a little more official.
There you
go.
Yeah.
Like that, if I could do this way too, that'll look better.
That does look better.
That does look better. It looks more like a mic.
You got an interesting pop filter there. But
it's like a Coca-Cola can without the logo on it.
Oh, my Coca-Cola should get into the microphone business. But before we jump into the couple of things that we cooked up, I just want to thank everyone for being part of this 1 year journey here. Whether you were in it from the beginning or just now discovering it, we wouldn't have gone for a year if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you all for listening. We really appreciate that. And thank you guys for doing this with me, because I wouldn't want to do this by myself.
Hey, anytime. I love doing this. This is great. It's fun.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you guys bring us along for the ride, dude. I mean, it's your brainchild, Blade, and without you, we can't do this, dude.
I try. I do my best. So 1 year ago, roughly, I mean, the first episode was April 16th. This episode is for April 14th, and it comes out on Tuesdays. So because of leap year, it's 2 days apart. But Nightcap Chat episode 1. Episode 1, we didn't have titles yet. I didn't start titling them until
they did not exist 9. Yet.
No, it was called Nightcap Chat episode 1. That was the
it's
title.
Like Star Wars movies.
Yes. Yeah, I had a little. Yeah, that's a fantastic comparison, because the first episode we talked about Star Wars Celebration, the episode 9 trailer, and the Mandalorian footage, and the state of variant comics in the comic industry. So it was a Star Wars episode.
And what kind of a time of year to start? Like, you pick any time out of the last 10 years to start a podcast, and it's the same year that Endgame and the hype of Star Wars Episode 9, and it's just what a time to begin a podcast.
You just gave me chills.
That was a great year for entertainment last year. I was 2019 just hit full speed of tying everything up and just everything being epic the way they did tie it up. I wasn't disappointed by anything this year.
Yeah, and then it just completely stopped.
So much excitement. They needed a break. It's like that. We just need to do this.
I know. Everything stops now. Okay.
And are we getting one Marvel movie, one MCU movie this year now because of all this? Right.
And
now Black Widow not coming out anymore. Or is Black Widow the only one?
Black Widow comes out in November now, and that's it.
Wow.
Because Eternals now got pushed back. So because SpiderMan was last year, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
it was after
Spider-Man was a month or two after Endgame, 2 months after Endgame, or a month.
Yeah, that's nuts to think about. But yeah, I mean, we were so excited about watching the episode 9 trailer and breaking it down, the Mandalorian footage. Gosh, I was watching a little thing on YouTube or Instagram or something, and they were showing the fan reactions when they unveiled it at Chicago, and there's people crying when they showed Carrie Fisher. I started tearing up, honestly, when I saw her, and then when Palpatine laughed, and I was like, what are we doing? This is what's happening. Oh my goodness. Yes, I was. And we were trying to get it off, Nightcap Chat off the ground for a couple months at that point. So yes, that was quite a week to start.
it would have been. I mean, I think the only like little thing that I would say about like having a podcast slightly sooner would have been cool to go through all those Marvel movies and just have like, as we were going, because I know we all had conversations with each other talking about like, oh my gosh, what do you think's gonna happen next? Who do you think you're gonna put in this movie? And then the rumors and everything else. But now there's even more rumors now because everything gets pushed back 3 months, all the Marvel movies. And now we're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen in Black Widow movie? They're even teasing even more. They're like, I don't know why that the directors and a couple of the actors are like saying little things about the movies to Black Widow to kind of get like some hype into it. I mean, it's not going to come out for a few months, but I don't know. It's kind of weird, but I don't know. It's just an exciting time.
Mm-hmm.
Look, what do you guys miss the most being pushed back?
I think just having a movie this summer that's like, when's the last time we didn't have a Marvel movie coming out in a summer? When was the last time? I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, it started with Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire was the first summer blockbuster, I would think, with Free Comic Book Day included at least. So I know back in 2002, Free Comic Book Day was the first Saturday of May because it always matched the summer blockbuster kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know, was X-Men at Christmas time or was X-Men summer blockbusters too back in the day?
I feel like X-Men 1 was in Christmas, but X-Men 2 I feel like was in the summer.
Okay.
I
kind of remember them around the holiday season for some reason with the X-Men when it first started.
And I think the Fantastic Four might have been summer.
That's true. Those were summer ones too. The Fantastic Four.
I think they were.
I mean, right around SpiderMan, like that was when it was like summer blockbustery. Like, did we have one every year? I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to look. But definitely since the first Iron Man, I think we've had one every summer. And that was 2008. So, I mean, that's at least 12 years straight, right? And now, no, nothing. There's no movies coming out.
And now the next Marvel blockbuster is going to be Shang-Chi.
Wow.
For a summer
movie.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be. It's like, all this time, and now we're going to Shang-Chi or something.
That was a quick trip.
Yeah.
Man, dude.
Well, hey, at least
using the Speed Force to get to Shang-Chi there.
Mm-hmm.
But at least they got the Mandarin and maybe Fing Fang Foom. Maybe. I don't know. Let's hope.
Yeah.
I can hope and pray.
That would be awesome. I mean, they got to do it.
Can you imagine if they bring back that Hollywood actor Mandarin for that? From the Iron Man 2?
Trevor?
Yeah.
My name is
I just hope that they bring back the actor to actually play the Mandarin.
No.
What's his name?
They cast the Mandarin.
And it's not him?
No.
What waste?
It's not though, because if you watch Hail to the King, the short film that reveals that there is a real Mandarin. And when the guy interviewing Trevor, he puts the gun to his head, says like, I'm going to put a bullet in you. I'm going to put one bullet in you for each ring in my religion in which you like desecrated. And they show that he's got like the 10 rings logo like tattooed on his forearm. And he's like, I still don't understand. Like they took him to meet the real Mandarin.
I know, but I just thought that he was just going to be like, oh, you look similar. That's why it kind of...
No.
So I thought that they were just going to kind of twist it that way where it's like, oh yeah, you just happen to look like the same guy. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, I thought he might've been a spirit and maybe they would put him in his body or something, but no, like there's a whole separate actor. It should be good. I mean, yeah, no, it'll be great. Speaking of Endgame, episode 2, we talked about all of our hopes and dreams for Endgame. And I don't remember how many of them came true. We definitely didn't get Death or Adam Warlock or anything like that.
Shockingly.
Yeah. But episode 3, we talked about Endgame. Ken, you weren't there for episode 3, but this was the first appearance of Lance.
Oh, nice.
First appearance of Lance in Nightcap Chat.
So if you have one of those, grade it, go to sure it's a nice 10. I'm just kidding.
Me and you talked about, Ken, we talked about Endgame in episode 4. Kept the spoiler alert on there. We also talked about Free Comic Book Day.
Yes, good gosh. Free Comic Book Day last year was crazy. Remember that now, talking about everything that happened there.
Yeah, I trooped. I was my first 501st troop at that Free Comic Book Day, I think. Right? It had to have been.
I think so. Yeah, it was you and Erica were both dressed up as, I want to say, Imperial troopers with the black outfits on.
Yeah, it's called a TIE Reserve pilot. It's a form of Imperial trooper. Erica was Mara Jade, so that is a black suit, but it's a Legends Jedi.
Yes, Mara Jade. It's Luke's wife for a short period of time, if I remember correctly.
Until she dies.
Yes.
But now she's not in the canon, so
yeah. Non-spoiler alert.
Star Wars EU.
Mm-hmm. So then we went on to talk about the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer.
What a great movie!
Oh my gosh, yes.
The best Spider-Man movie ever.
Now, Mysterio, I never liked as a comic character, but Jake Gyllenhaal did convert me to be a Mysterio fan. After
I 100% feel the same way. I thought he was the lamest character, and then they did that, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, they maximized potential of what he could do on the movie screen. That never happened in the comic series. And Mysterio, let's go, oh, this guy wears a fishbowl and a purple cape. Okay, how many more purple and green villains can Spider-Man have? This guy's but, I always ranked him at the bottom there. But after that movie, it's going, well, it's a cool way of conceptualizing him as interacting with Peter Parker and pulling off the fact of how much he loved Tony Stark as a role model, and almost, it was great. It was a great way to introduce Mysterio character. To everything about his character was an illusion, from special effects to him being an illusion of Peter Parker getting his trust so easily.
But I liked that they kept the special effects, because I was honestly getting worried that they weren't going to do it from the trailers. They did a good job keeping the fans like worried, but still like really interested. And then you were just so excited, like, yes, these are illusions, just like they're supposed to be.
Right.
I was afraid it was going to be another Infinity Stone thing or something. Like, don't make Mysterio an Infinity Stone, or have his powers come from an Infinity Stone. Like, not everything's an Infinity Stone, So that's why it was great. And he kind of got left off having a legacy almost, because we saw the guy running the computer. He took that flash drive and went off, and Quentin Beck was this made up person. So like, he wasn't even Quentin Beck. So that guy couldn't go on and be Quentin Beck, right? He might actually be Quentin Beck, right? For all we know, he could be pulling this whole bigger game that's beyond even what Jake Gyllenhaal was doing, right?
And he's just a pawn for the whole thing. That's even, I thought, even more illusionary.
Because there's been more than one Mysterio, right?
Absolutely. So, I think was there 3 Mysterios total over the years, or just 2? I think there was at least 2. I'm trying to remember the names of both of them, but I know there was at least 2 different Mysterios.
Yep.
And this is the first time also that Marvel talked about multiverses without actually talking about it. Like he pretended, I'm just from this other universe called 616, which was a great little homage there. But they just hinted at it, and then they're actually going to do it. So that was kind of like a good way to like warm people, the audience, I guess, up into like, hey, this is kind of going to work. No, it's not, but it's actually going to happen though.
Well, the cool thing about that too is, did you guys ever read the SpiderMan miniseries that was out, that Bendis wrote, and I think Pichelli drew back I think 7 years ago, where they introduced the Miles Morales of the 616 universe at the end?
No.
But the person that accessed the 616 universe was actually Mysterio as the character in that Spider-Man series. So they're actually pulling Easter egg content from people that have read that series and go, oh, dude, that was kind of cool. And like, Mysterio was the person that discovered the 616 universe from the Ultimate Universe back in that original story.
It's also kind of funny because the Marvel Cinematic Universe is not 616, of course. I mean, we know that, though. The comics are 616, but he still said 616 in the movie, but it's still okay because he was pretending to be full of it.
Yes.
But it just turned out to actually be true. The designation for the MCU, I think, is like 19999, I think, is the MCU universe. But yes, it was a fun little Easter egg that it was 616.
Yes,
like,
it was
I
cool.
mean, how could you go wrong?
And they've done a lot of cool things with like numbers. Like, I think, what was the thing that they did with Thor? they had like some passcode was like his first appearance or something, a journey to mystery or something. There was something like that they did that I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. They used that as a passcode, and that's like that was the number of his first appearance, a journey into mystery.
There was a number
83 or something like that.
Oh, for Journey into Mystery.
I think it was Journey into Mystery 1. I don't remember the number.
I know in
like any that.
What'd you say, Ken? You cut out there for a second.
So it was like JITM 83 or something like that, or was there something more?
No, it was just the number, I thought. Or I thought it was the first appearance. Maybe it was Beta Ray Bill, his first appearance.
Like a 337 or something like that?
Yeah. I can't remember.
Marvel's great at the Easter eggs. So, I'm sure there's tons of things like that. Episode 7, we had our first interview. We interviewed voice actor Andy Field, who's been in the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, Paladins, Marvel's Avengers Academy. That was fun. I think that was our first guest, which is exciting.
Yes.
Let me see what else we got here. Oh, I think this was my favorite episode. And I think it was the first time the three of us recorded. That was our episode 9. That was the first time we titled something called Burnt Out. It was when we talked about the Dark Phoenix movie after we watched it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. That's your favorite episode?
Yes, because it was just so much fun, just
ripping apart a movie.
Yes, it was so much fun.
Yeah, that was something I tried blocking out of my memory, was that movie.
Yep.
That's the first time I thought about it since then.
Uh-huh.
That was probably the most enjoyable part of the movie, though, was actually talking about it with friends and say, what did we just watch, a car wreck or a movie? And a little bit of everything. I mean, the train wreck in there and all kinds of madness. So
yeah,
it wasn't even a car wreck. It was a train wreck.
There was both in the movie. And it was there was a car wreck and a train wreck. And that's
how many movies?
A car wreck, and then the ending was a train wreck.
Mm-hmm. We see a train wreck would be perfect.
Wow. That's the symbolism. Like, we know this is going to be a train wreck. Let's end the movie with a train wreck, just like the whole X-Men franchise.
Right before we let Disney buy it.
That's some deep symbolism there that I think we just caught.
I know, everyone. Yeah, I don't think Neeson was a plane crash.
Here's the thing, in retrospect of Dark Phoenix, is they were pushing like the last Fox X-Men movie. But here we are on the precipice of the release of New Mutants being pushed back for like the 4th time.
Dude.
Right?
Yes.
Well, I think they should just throw it out on Disney Plus at this point.
So I read that they can't.
Oh.
They can't.
Yes, because there's a multi-million-dollar deal that HBO has the rights to be the first one to stream it.
Why don't they just cancel it?
Let them stream it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just let HBO have it first. They'll be like, here you go, have it first, and then we'll have it after. I don't know.
I've got the bad jokes rolling through my head right now. It's like, why don't they cancel it for a 100th time and just rename it X-Force?
So if you change the title of the movie, they no longer have the rights to New Mutants, especially if they change one scene.
Because New Mutants went 100 issues and they canceled it and that's relabeled it X-Force. That's it's a bad joke. It's like, it's really, really bad back issue.
Oh, I like X-Force Rising.
Yeah, after we've canceled this 100 times,
X-Force
now
Origins.
it's called X-Force.
I mean, they have the time to do it at this point. I mean, just keep saying that we're put a date for it and keep pushing it back for the next 100 days. I mean, we're probably going to. Yeah. You're not going to put it out before Black Widow, you know? That's
a good idea. The 100-day wait for New Mutants and then called X-Force.
Yeah. We've already been waiting for this for 2 years, though. Like, it's been like over 700 days. That New Mutants trailer turned 2 years old. How many blockbuster movies got a trailer that turned 2 years old before the movie even came out? I'm pretty sure that's unprecedented. It's got to be.
True. Yeah, it has to be.
Gosh, it's become such, like, I don't even know if taboo is the right word, but like, I really want to watch it now. Like, I don't know if this was like a genius marketing thing. Like, I'm so curious.
Oh, they're just teasing you, you know? They're just.
And I didn't even realize like Magic was like the main character. So like, I'm kind of excited.
Well, they kind of did. The first trailer didn't really show that but the most recent trailers kind of show her off a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Really excited. And we saw the Demon Bear.
Ooh, yes.
So that's going to be cool.
This movie's going to win an Academy Award now after it's all said and done.
Could you imagine like best picture after all that best picture,
best supporting actor by some actor? He's like, oh, I did this 3 years ago. I guess that was really good. I don't know.
Well, how many movies have been released this year? If they actually get it in theaters and out, when it comes to Academy Award nominations, their chances of winning are much better because no movies were released this year. Right?
Yeah, like all the big ones were pushed back.
Yeah,
well,
it gets better. It's an automatic winner.
Plus, next year there's not many movies being filmed just because there's just nothing being filmed. So if you push it out, you're taking a movie that was filmed years ago. Oh,
wow, interesting.
And it also might do better at the box office because there might not be as much to watch. Period.
Absolutely. Everyone's gonna be like so excited to go see a movie. They're the first movie to get released when the quarantine gets up. It's like that's the movie people are going to remember when it comes to voting around award time. It's like, oh yes,
yeah, something new.
Movie everybody got excited about.
Black Widow might just. I mean, I think Black Widow's gonna do well, but I think it might just blow up because it's gonna be. It's been so long since a Marvel movie. Period. Forget about like a Marvel summer movie. We haven't had a Marvel movie since SpiderMan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've been over a year. We're gonna go over a year without a Marvel movie.
Wow.
We're gonna get withdrawals. Marvel withdrawal.
Yeah, I'm dying.
Yeah, I already kind of am. At least bring me one of those Disney Plus shows or something.
And they pushed those back, right?
No, I actually don't think so because I was just checking the schedule and it looks like
start reading my new Mutants comics.
Yeah.
Again.
That's which one is that? Is that 80? Is that 88?
96.
96.
Got Cable and Beast on the cover there. Yeah, I can't tell with Rob Liefeld drawing. They are. My bad. Love you, Rob. Yes, I do. But even there too, Jubilee.
Oh wow!
I haven't seen that in person in a long time. But that's kind of like, I guess we're doing a quick little New Mutants right here because we're in motion pictures, right?
Mm-hmm.
There we go, dude. You're getting the debut of the New Mutants movie right here during the Nightcap Chat podcast.
That's going to be our clickbait title. New Mutants leak.
An advertisement for Mark Jeweler. Mark Jeweler.
Oh, it's a Mark Jeweler. Nice.
Wow.
Yes. The cool thing about this two blade, remember that New Mutants 98 you got from us?
Yeah, that's part of that set.
I think it's from that same collection. In fact, we're going to do a Disney Plus show coming up too, so you don't have to wait anymore. It's the Vision and Scarlet Witch in West Coast Avengers.
Nice.
Will this be a plot of one of the episodes? If you would make predictions, it's like, is Vision going to get kidnapped and torn up and rebuilt as the new robot Vision that forgets about Scarlet Witch during the series?
That's interesting. Does he even
exist? Sorry about going on a tangent. I just kind of came into my head there and go, oh, I got some New Mutants books and Scarlet Witch books right here. The fun thing about just having a weird warehouse on your upper floor at the time during an apocalypse.
That's awesome. I should do one of these episodes from my comic book room.
Mm-hmm.
We got to do like a proper video, not a podcast, but like a special episode for YouTube, and we can actually go over things and art and stuff. You know, I think that would be really cool.
That'd be awesome.
Let's see. What else do we have here? We went over all these kind of random topics that are fun. Oh, yeah, there we go. Spider-Man Far From Home came out. San Diego Comic-Con. We're not even going to have one this year, right?
Yeah. Or any Comic-Con,
who knew?
I think, whatsoever.
Everything's virtual con this year.
Yeah.
Like you can go buy exclusives and have them mailed to your house. Listen to Zoom interviews of everybody doing their channels, right?
Mm-hmm. We did an episode about cable cutting streaming services, and ironically, a few months later, one of the ones that I said was the best, the PlayStation View, went out of business, and they stopped providing that service. So that's ironic.
That was a bad. In my opinion, that was a bad move on PlayStation's part. But whatever.
But if they weren't making money, I mean,
I know, but they were so good. I think they need to do a bigger job on trying to push out their product or something. I don't know.
I can't believe no one bought it. You know.
Yeah, it was such a good service. I loved it.
Oh, now Sling seems to be the reigning champ. What did you switch to?
I didn't switch to anything. After that, I just cut it off. I don't have anything.
Oh.
I just have Disney Plus and Netflix. I was like, you know what? I don't even care now. I was so upset. Didn't even go to Sling.
Wow. Good for you.
I finally cut the cord with DirecTV and went to YouTube TV, and it's been pretty impressive. I have no problem with it.
Okay.
Not a huge channel selection like DirecTV, but everything you need. I mean, to get the sports, they get the AMC for Walking Dead, get like SO2, like a AMC, I think is my next favorite TV station out there now. With I watch Better Call Saul, and as I said too, like Walking Dead, Better Call Saul, and sports is pretty much all I need. And then everything else I just kind of discovered through Hulu and Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, we keep sitting around for FX, History Channel. Those are the main ones, and Cartoon Network, I guess. But now that all the Cartoon Network stuff canceled, like I'm almost wondering why I'm paying the extra $5 for the cartoons, if that's a part of it, especially now that Resistance is over too, because I mean that's going to be on Disney Plus soon, so I might save another $5. But I mean I'm happy with Sling. You know, it gets the job done.
Yeah, once I move into my new house, I'm gonna get Sling. But right now, save up a little extra money, and I'm okay.
There you go. So Spider-Man left the MCU and then came back. We talked about
how many times? Yeah.
It's almost like a summer vacation for him. You know what I mean? Just kind of take the summer off and go back to school when school starts up again.
Yeah, that was really sad.
Quarantined himself for about 3 months and came back out of it.
Then the Joker movie came out.
Oh, yes.
That was fun.
We're up to that already.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of skipping around.
I was just like, what?
Kind of doing some highlights because it will take forever if we go through every single episode, all 47, 48, or 49 of them.
I liked the Joker movie more than I expected to.
Me too.
I was kind of a little bit creeped out about going to see it with all the different, more or less, social media feel about it. But I didn't think it was that bad. I really enjoyed it more than I expected to.
Me too. And even though I really liked it, I still firmly believe we did not need it.
Yeah.
There was no reason to make a Joker movie. Joker is a Batman villain, and he's still more interesting when he doesn't have an origin story like spelled out. I mean, flashbacks and stuff is one thing, but like, you know, like I am this specific person and this is my mother and this was my life. Like, it's just one of those things that's just more interesting not knowing. It's more interesting in the mystery, you know, and I think that's something we've kind of touched on before. And it might not even been in one of those episodes. Because I think we talked about the same thing with like Wolverine, you know?
Yes.
Well, I mean, is the Joker movie even, it's not part of the DC universe, right? Or is it?
No, it's not.
This is its own thing. So I guess was kind of, I guess, where they're going. I guess when you don't have really good movies, you'll go for anything and you just hope for the best. And it worked. It did work out though, because it was popular. It did well in the box office, which is the first one that they've ever had do both of those things, except for maybe Wonder Woman.
Yes.
And Aquaman.
But I don't know why people think it's good. I don't get it. But whatever.
I mean, I guess it's just Jason Momoa fans and, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's all right. I have nothing against Jason Momoa.
I don't either.
I think he's great.
I think he'd be a great Namor.
I don't think I ever saw Aquaman in the theaters. I waited for it to come out on Blu-ray.
I never saw Aquaman.
Really? Wow.
I saw bits and pieces of it and it was just like, I can't watch this.
I did watch one scene on Instagram. Someone posted a scene where he's in a bar and then he starts taking selfies. And I was like, this is the Aquaman movie. He's taking selfies in a bar with these biker guys and he has a pink cell phone. This is what this movie is. Come on.
Was the Marvel Endgame movie trolling Aquaman by having the banner do the same thing in that cafe with kids, but making it so much more genuine?
That's possible. Because why else do you do that scene? It's kind of it's kind of like a random scene.
Yeah. And it's like selfie time and
I mean,
high five time, whatever they're doing in there.
Like, you want to take a picture? I'm Ant-Man.
Exactly. It's like, thanks. Who?
Gosh. Yeah. I mean, just I know we're way past Endgame now, but like a year ago we were watching Endgame. We're getting ready to watch Endgame in theaters. You know.
And now we're living in Endgame.
Yeah, when did Thanos snap and we didn't know about it?
Yeah.
At least in the Spider-Man movie, they had a name for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's true.
So, okay, and I'm going way back to Endgame again.
That's fine.
A year later, how do you guys feel about Endgame?
I personally probably feel better than I originally did about it.
What about you?
Because I didn't like it as much.
You didn't like it at first? Wow.
I was so mad. It's not even funny.
He was upset they killed Iron Man, and that was his favorite character.
I was going to lose my mind.
He was really bad in the theaters. What do you think about Endgame?
I liked it. I still wish they brought in all the Netflix characters into it, since they referenced the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe the whole time.
Yeah.
You had the perfect opportunity with those portals to open to have the Charlie Cox Daredevil and, obviously Luke Cage and Iron Fist. I'm not remembering any names right now, unfortunately. And Jessica Jones, what's her name? Kristen Ritter. And just to have that one scene, I know they're not as powered up as everybody else, but just to have that final battle where Thanos caught on every resource he had, the Marvel Cinematic Universe had that one opportunity to say, hey, everybody, we know you're part of it. Imagine John Barenthal walking through as the Punisher, just unloading with a machine gun. It just would have been that extra touch.
Yeah, and I think that it's not unreasonable, especially with one, the amount of money you're spending, and two, make a lot. And three, you had people from Wakanda. Like, I mean, they had some souped up things, but they're not. One of them isn't stronger than Luke Cage or Jessica Jones. Like, you could put them in that fight.
Yeah, Luke Cage is at least super strong, but you had Hawkeye with his arrows.
Yeah.
Where was General Ross leading the military? That would have been freaking awesome.
Or Red Hulk. Where's General Ross just freaking out? Yeah,
exactly. Red Hulk for the first time. Why not?
And how do we not have any first spirit? And where's our Celestials? Like, where all this is going down, and you're telling me that all these people that you're going to now introduce because you're doing an Eternals movie, that none of them wanted to interfere with any of this? I mean, it had to have they had to known about it, and it had to have affected them in some way. You know what I mean?
They're not awakened yet, but the Celestials, I agree. Like, that would have been cool. It's like, okay, it's not just Earth's heroes and the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, it would have been so cool to some Celestials showed up too to help. Like, who's that? Like, oh, they're Celestials. Like, imagine Celestials coming to help fight Thanos.
Or like Eternity or something, like just somebody like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to lose my mind. I don't know. I feel like that was a big missed opportunity, because if you don't do it there, then when do you bring a character like that in?
Yeah, it's like Thanos had so much opportunity to be upstaged for that first time, that opportunity. It's still like the Marvel Universe is bigger than you think. That's what they were trying to prove. But throw as many fastballs as you can at them, and things that where this is it. This is goodbye, guys. See ya next movie at the Eternals. I guess Black Widow obviously come in, and all these backstories now are showing up. But where let's tie it up and not leave anything at the table. And I felt like they kind of dropped the ball on the opportunity to give us everything they could with all the opportunities and all the resources they do have with Disney at their fingertips.
I mean, there was unused concept art from the Doctor Strange movie where Caecilius's zealots that followed him had face paint of zealots of death. So it was it was almost like Sugar Skull art. So they were planning to use death at some point. And also in that same movie, Baron Mordo used the staff of the Living Tribunal.
Right, which I mean, just mentioning it is really.
And after the credit scene in the second Guardians of the Galaxy introduced Adam Warlock. So why didn't we get any of these things when you did the Infinity Gauntlet story?
Yeah, Warlock is such an integral part of the Infinity War, Infinity Gauntlet storytelling. I was kind of surprised for them to just leave Adam Warlock on the shelf in this this final tie-up of everything.
Yep, I completely agree. And for these reasons, is a really big part of why like I don't like Endgame as much as I did when I first saw it. So like I'm kind of like the opposite of Lance. It's like it's very like it's a middle of the road Marvel movie now. Like I like Infinity War so much more, and the way it like ends with the snap and like everything dusting, and you don't know what's gonna. I mean, you have an idea of, and you know everyone's gonna come back, but like, wow, they actually did it. They did the snap, and wow, how exciting is that? Like, I mean, that was like the high point of the climax for me.
I still think for me it's one of the best Marvel movies, but a couple things do detract from it, like we've been going over. But I think all in all, I'll take it. It wasn't bad. I mean, you know, it could have been a lot worse. That also being said, if they didn't use all those characters now, who knows? Maybe we're wrong. Maybe in like 3 years, we're going to have some, you know, there's going to be Kang and Celestials. And then we'll be like, oh, wow, like this is great. Like this is even crazier. Like I kind of get why they didn't use them then, because it was so crazy. We didn't really need it. Now they're using it to make it bigger, because how do you make something bigger than an Infinity Gauntlet? Like, where do you go from here? Well, maybe fighting some Celestials and Kang or something crazy.
Maybe they'll eventually down the road do Jonathan Secret Wars, where every version of the Marvel Universe together story. Doctor Doom is the main villain, kind of like with Molecule Man being the guy that is the connector of Doctor Doom envisioning the world in his image, and everybody kind of going, hey, this is not right. We're all here, but none of us recognize this. Almost like House of M mixed in together with it. Like,
have Galactus just standing there chilling.
Yeah.
That whole thing was like really weird. I don't know how to, I don't know. That was kind of, I don't know. I like the story. I thought it was really interesting when they did that in the comics. It was just so weird.
The Secret Wars one or the House of M?
Yeah, the Secret Wars one.
It was too, how would you say it? Too convoluted. Too many different storylines put into one storyline. Because I like the idea of Doctor Doom trying to rebuild the world in his image.
Right.
Molecule Man is that guy that helps him achieve it. But to have every single storyline that Marvel had as a crossover connected into the ultimate crossover, it was very, very kind of hard to follow. It was, you know, it was kind of like trying to reach out to everybody, but then not getting to anything by the time it was done.
Yeah.
It was just an excuse to, you know, bring some ultimate characters into the 616, right?
And I don't, do they,
right?
did they
Isn't that
really
when that happened?
Yeah, they did converge everybody into one universe afterwards, right? It was trying to get everything into the same sandbox. It was just the vehicle to get there was kind of like a Ford Pinto convertible. Some people envision it, but they never want it.
And they never really like explained how. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I just missed this. But did they ever really explain how they stopped the Beyonder? They took his powers.
Oh, it's the original Secret Wars or the second one?
No. The second one, they were talking about how like him, who was it?
It was Reed Richards figured out that this wasn't right.
But it was before that. They did like a flashback when Doom and somebody else went up to the Beyonder and ended up taking his power or something from him. But they never really like explained what happened. They just kind of like, oh, we snuck up on, like, it was just like, what are we talking about? You just snuck up on the Beyonder, and he was just like, oh, and you won? What? I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know if they actually ever like explained and showed what happened.
Yeah, it's like that. If I remember correctly, in the original Secret Wars, didn't Doctor Doom, like ask what it was like to have his power? And the Beyonder granted him his power for like a day or something to the fact of like where he defeated the Beyonder, but that's what he told everybody. But all Beyonder did was give him his power for a day, so he could feel like what it would be like to be a god. And they said like, oh, I defeated the Beyonder, but actually all he did was just be granted the Beyonder's power. And
I feel like
the Beyonder took it back from him.
I feel like I should remember this because I literally just read it like 6 months ago, and I can't remember.
The original Secret Wars, right?
Yeah, I read the original and then I read the new one to kind of see what they did different, like to make sure because you know sometimes you forget like little things, and I wanted to see how it like lined up.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I haven't done that yet. I should read the original Secret Wars and then go right into reading see how much they yanked from it to kind of pay homage. Because Hickman's genius at doing that. He find the smallest little Easter eggs or bird seed and just pick it up and put it in a story. And it's like, oh my gosh, I totally didn't catch that. Unless, as you said, you read it together back to back and you see so much stuff that's in there with it.
Yeah.
He's doing the same thing right now with X-Men.
It's kind of like the same, like when we watch like Infinity War and Endgame, and then you go back and you read it, and you know that we were like, oh, Black Widow died. And then it was like, in the comic books, you're like, oh yeah, she did die. She got crushed. She was like one of the first people to die. We didn't even realize it. And it was just like a little one panel. Like it was like little things like that is what Marvel's great at.
Still don't think Black Widow should have died in Endgame.
Well, she still gets a movie, so whatever.
I know, but
So you die, you get more movies. Like there'll be like 6 more Iron Man movies to
right.
prequels.
I would just like, I don't know, I just want a Black Widow trilogy or something, but it's cool that she gets to fight Taskmaster. Hopefully they don't kill Taskmaster and Taskmaster like sticks around for a little bit, but
I don't think so, because I think why would you, I don't think they would, because I know it's like a prequel, but it's also, it's going to be, from what I understand, it's going to be going over throughout the years, right? Of like the entire MCU. It's not just one specific time. So I feel like it's something that it's a character that they've been fighting in the background, and it's going to lead into something else, like a way for them to introduce someone else, like introduce Deadpool now into the MCU, because he's going to have to come in at some point, right?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. And I just want everything to be okay.
Or Deadpool's just going to jump on Doctor Strange's back and just go with him into the MCU, and that'll be it. And then Deadpool's now in the MCU, and that's
while he's time jumping at the end of Deadpool 2, he finds Doctor Strange, and it's like, what did I do? And he messes everything up. Yeah. Speaking of Hickman, there was the X-Men books that came out. Disney Plus came out, which was exciting.
Yes,
you did your little Lord of the Rings
it began
prologue
with the forging of the great streaming services. Yes, that was a fun little Easter egg for those of you who listened to the beginning of episode 28 there.
That was actually really fun when we were on the phone and we came up with that in like a couple of seconds. Like
that was something great. Fun fact, we added that in right before releasing the episode. That was a lot of fun. The Mandalorian came out. Star Wars Episode 9 came out. And it was great. That was like, I'm sorry. Like Episode 9 is like one of the best Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I'm so excited to watch it again. I still haven't, because I'm kind of waiting for it to come out on one of my streaming services, but I might just buy it. I don't want to
on
go
digital
out.
as soon as it.
Where did you buy it at?
Vudu, because it had all the extra Blu-ray features.
Oh wow!
You can watch it's 4K on Vudu or not?
Yeah, I spent extra to get the 4K one, but on the Chase app, like you had those deals, and there was a $2 off, and then they gave me a $3 credit, so the extra $5 for the 4K like washed out.
Because every time I buy a movie, I get, you know how like if you buy the hard copy of like the 4K movies, it'll give you, well, at least for the Marvel ones, it'll give you a digital code for your Movies Anywhere app. Does Vudu and that work together, or like, yeah? So if I bought one on Vudu, I can do it on my Movies Anywhere app, I guess, or no?
I think so, because the codes that I've redeemed from those Blu-rays are on my Vudu. Because I redeemed them in Ultraviolet, and they went out of business, and Vudu was one of the ones that took it over.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
So I think so. I could be wrong. Okay. Episode 35. Episode 35. 2020 Vision. We look ahead at pop culture in 2020 from movies, TV shows, video games, and more. And how wrong were we?
I mean,
God.
Come on. I think if there's an episode that people should watch, it's this. And then they should have like a pint of ice cream and just cry while they're listening.
We talked about all of the things we were excited for in 2020, and like half of them got canceled. We had no idea. No idea.
Well, I know in that episode we did mention how, man, it's gonna be hard to beat 20. And it just folded. That was it.
Yep, it was going to be hard to beat 2019, and it was.
Yes. Well, the next thing we need this year is Aliens, because wasn't 2020 the year we're supposed to make contact? Wasn't 2020 the year we made contact?
Well, September 2020, they were supposed to raid Area 51, and they probably should have just done it.
Yeah, at this point, you might as well.
Let's see what's out there. That's actually how COVID got started. Probably someone tried to get in, and they released what's in this jar, and they open it up, and there it is. There's your COVID
of all the jars.
Yeah, exactly. Dude. This looks like great jelly. I can do it with my peanut butter. It's just not good. Not good at all.
So then Lance brought us an in-depth analysis of an Easter egg talking about a potential Marvel versus DC event.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Together Forever. We had a Valentine's Day episode. That was fun.
We had a great moment in there when you're talking about having Valentine's Day alone. You know,
you guys misunderstood.
That was one of my favorite moments.
Isn't like buying Valentine's for yourself was another one of those.
Yeah, because
like, well, for those
because I was
by
talking
yourself.
about the merchandise because we're all collectors.
Here.
Birds of Prey came out and that was actually pretty good.
Unfortunately, it didn't. The box office didn't think so.
Yeah,
wow.
that is unfortunate.
Yeah. Ewan McGregor, has he had a lemon yet? Ewan McGregor, has he had a bad movie that I don't know?
Has Ewan McGregor had a bad movie? I mean,
because he's becoming a quick favorite actor of mine after pulling off Black Mass. So impressive.
Have you seen Trainspotting?
No, I need to see Trainspotting then too.
My goodness, if you are not aware of Ewan McGregor's acting talents, he plays this like druggie, and like he starts like going through withdrawals and stuff. Like crazy movie. Like and he's like all skinny and stuff. Like it's nuts. And there's this scene where he's like tripping because he's having the withdrawal so bad, and he starts like kind of like it's good movie, and he's so good.
Yeah, I like actors that have so much range you can't tell who they are as the actor name more than as the role.
Mm-hmm.
And Ewan McGregor sold it for me. It's like that. His Obi-Wan 10 times different than his Black Mask personality.
Yeah.
And I'm going, there's range for you if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, just wait till you see Trainspotting, and you're like, and here's a whole third, different thing. Yeah, he's a phenomenal actor. And spoiler alert, you've got like 10 seconds to skip this spoiler. I'm about to say skip the next 10 seconds, but it's a shame they killed him. Black Mass should have been hanging out in the DCU for a while. That would have been cool. I think that was a really big missed opportunity. Oh, sorry, Lance. Whatever. If you didn't want spoilers, you should have seen it already. Sorry, I forgot.
That's fine. I mean, plus they don't know who's in their DC universe. DC doesn't know what's going on. They could just bring him in from a different guy. Yeah, whatever. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, no, that's true. Episode 41, which was only a few episodes ago. I mean, we were talking about upcoming events in the Phoenix area, like Free Comic Book Day and Phoenix Fan Fusion. And Phoenix Fan Fusion got pushed back to September.
There'll be no Comic Cons this year. I don't see any way of them doing any more conventions where there's gatherings of people.
Yeah.
Until they have a vaccine for everybody out there.
Yeah.
It's just, can you imagine which convention is going to be known as the first convention to restart the COVID crisis?
Interesting.
I mean, I don't think anybody wants to go and experience that at all when it comes to bad PR. That's like the big nightmare out of everything is like once it all gets going, what's going to be that trip up where they don't have a vaccine and the first big gathering is the gathering that's kind of re-triggers it even, gets it going again.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. So shortly after this is when the world changed so fast because we weren't even thinking that was a possibility. And just a few episodes later, I know that there was talks with the COVID-19 stuff. We interviewed Livio Ramondelli in episode 43.
That was a great episode. That was a lot of fun.
That was. Yeah. He's awesome.
Yes.
He was actually in town for an event at your comic shop.
Yeah, that was probably the closest thing we'll have to Free Comic Book Day this year.
No.
That all planned out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's always good with the crowd. His attitude is always 110% positivity, and he's a really good guy to have around. Have him this year again.
Definitely, and I remember before the interview started, I was like, I'm trying so hard not to bring up coronavirus in Nightcap Chat because I want this to just, be happy, fun things. And Well, no. Like shortly, like right after this, it became inevitable because right after the St. Patrick's Day episode, we had to talk about it because the only things going on in pop culture was everything was canceled. So all the episodes after that were isolation movies, isolation video games, and now for some good news because there were finally some good news besides stuff being canceled. You know, like those were the last 3 episodes. You know, like we had to. It came to a point where it was so ingrained into society.
It's actually like a pop culture thing to talk about, honestly. Like at this point,
with the memes, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. It's what it is.
But yeah, that was our year in review. That
start off real strong, man.
Yeah, 3/4 of it was awesome. Last quarter, kind of tough.
Kind of tough.
Yeah, and that's
kind of
okay.
Like the Falcons in the Super Bowl against the Patriots that year. 3 great quarters. In that 4th quarter, they just didn't show up.
That was this year.
That's what the world feels like right now. It was 2 years ago. 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
It was when it was the last Super Bowl I think you watched, Bud. I shouldn't say watch. We were at a house for a Super Bowl and it happened. I should say.
It was in the back.
The events happened.
That is what happened. Yeah, I mean, I'm really satisfied with the year though, and I look forward to the next year. I think we're already thinking about the future and some possible cool episodes. I know we had that episode with like crazy trivia facts that we wanted to do, inspired by your facts about the ET games that were buried in a hole or something. What was it?
The ET game. Yeah, they more or less they trashed the ET game stock that wasn't sold, and it was just thrown in a garbage dump. And then people now, all these years later, dig up the ET games that they can find and try to find good copies of it, which is pretty absurd. I think that's kind of sounds like something you do when you're really bored at home, pandemic, but it was done years beforehand. You know what I mean, dude?
Yeah.
And there was also we also had up recently the idea of trying to stump you with actors or actresses, right? Characters that Liam Neeson cannot play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to whatever.
I'm ready. I have.
What? Yeah. All right. We're gonna do our first segment right now. What's the character?
Do you have one?
Yeah. Let's go. Can Liam Neeson play Cyclops?
Well, of course he can, but I mean, he's getting a little old now, but I mean,
he's too whiny. Cyclops is way too whiny for Liam Neeson.
I have
slapping himself. He's slapping himself.
He could play Cyclops' father.
Wait. I have an excuse for him to be Cyclops. I'm gonna work in a legitimate Cyclops casting for Liam Neeson. When they introduce Cable and he's an old man, he will play old man Cyclops in the flash forward before Cable gets sent back.
Yeah, dude, would Cyclops still be brooding even at that age?
Yes. Gosh, trust me, like I think that would be a waste because I mean, yeah.
Okay, I have one.
Okay.
Puck.
What are all these diversity things with them?
Yeah. Why not? He can voice them. You do have him be motion capture, and you could do the voice like, "Hello, I am Puck. Alpha Flight will find you, and I will kill you."
It would be so distracting.
It would be distracting.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a hard one. He would be a better Wendigo, or not Wendigo. Not Wendigo. No, Sasquatch.
Yeti? Sasquatch? Yeah, Sasquatch.
Sasquatch?
Yeah, there's Sasquatch and there's Wendigo.
Which one is an alpha flight?
Sasquatch.
Yeah, I get them mixed up.
Yeah, Wendigo was the guy that attacked the Hulk when Wolverine first showed up.
Yeah. He's just so similar to Sasquatch. It's
like a white and a brown different.
Well, I didn't realize.
Supposedly Sasquatch is a Tanorak. And Wendigo is just a Wendigo.
Interesting.
Yeah, Canadian mythology. I don't know. I way too much about Alpha Flight. Forgive me.
Yeah, that's another episode we should do. We should do an Alpha Flight episode.
Yes, don't count on Alpha Flight. So would Liam Neeson play North Star?
Oh no.
Since we're going.
No, he'd be a better Vindicator.
He would be good Vindicator because that's the leader of Alpha Flight.
Mm-hmm. I think he'd be good for that.
Intellectual scientist that creates his own armor.
Totally down for that. Oh, yes. I'm so ready for Liam Neeson to join the MCU. Like, let's do this.
Yeah, you know who he's going to be? He's going to be Forge.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Oh, lame.
No, you like Forge?
Lame. Oh, I could make anything. Oh.
Yeah, I honestly, that's the lamest. Like, I'm sorry, but like, really?
Besides,
that's
maybe
your mutant ability.
I can create anything, right?
I can create anything. What?
Like, why isn't Tony Stark hiring?
Well, Tony Stark's a mutant then.
Interesting. I wonder if they're gonna make that a thing.
Oh, please don't. No. You can't now give a guy powers who's never had powers. No.
Now, would Liam Neeson be able to pull off Machine Man?
Machine Man? Oh, yeah, why not? I mean, anybody can play Machine Man, right?
I don't know.
I guess. I don't know.
That's just a waste. You know, that's the thing. You know.
That's why you wouldn't want to waste it, right?
Yeah, don't want to waste it. So I wouldn't cast him.
So would Liam Neeson be open enough to putting on a mask and being Baron Zemo? Like old man Zemo? Or would he have to have his face shown the whole time?
I feel like he's not like that. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I don't know him. I never met him. I won't pretend to know him.
So I think he would make an awesome original generation Zemo, not like the young one they showed up in the Civil War
really
movie.
Interesting. You know, I'm still there's several reasons why I think he'd be a good whistler. I mean, like he looks it. You know, he's perfect. But you know, Liam Neeson's wife passed away. You know, a few years ago. And he was really private about it for a long time. But if you look at some of his work, some of his more serious roles since then, he did a movie called The Grey. And in The Grey, he's married. And like, you don't, as it's going on, you know, you're not really sure why we're going back to these flashbacks because he's like trapped on an island because the plane crashed. And then you realize like his wife died, like in the movie, you know, and like he's this character who's all depressed about it. I realized like, wow, like this performance is coming from like a really dark place in his heart, you know? So like Whistler's family was killed by vampires. So I think he can bring just such a powerful performance to it to like really help build not only the character of Whistler, but to help with the character of Blade. Cause you know, Blade's mother was bitten by a vampire and he's kind of, you know, dealing with that and, you know, hating vampires. And then I'm pretty sure she like, you know, survives it. And then like, he's upset that Deacon Frost made her a vampire. I just think it'd be a powerful performance, you know? So like, that's why like I'm really on board for it.
I think he could
name performances of things that we think would be better for Liam Neeson.
What do you mean?
Like, I think he would make an awesome Kane.
Oh, yeah.
Would that be epic? Kane the Conqueror,
yes.
Liam Neeson.
Are you kidding me?
I think that would be epic.
Yes.
I think his ability needs to be used in like a bigger, like if you're going to be able to get him to use him as a bigger character that's going to be on multiple movies, possibly. Yeah. I don't know if he's open to multiple movies. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't.
Wouldn't Kane be perfect for that?
He would be good for that. Yeah. Or just like Baron Zemo would be kind of cool because he's like a someone who's like a leader.
Yes.
Can stay within, you know, like a Loki character who's like, oh, I'm going to be in this movie. I don't necessarily have to have my own movie, but I'm constantly showing up. And
even like Doctor Doom in that aspect then too, as well.
Doctor Doom would actually be pretty cool, but he might be a little too old for Doctor Doom. You might want a younger Doctor Doom to stay around because you want him around for a long time. Doctor Doom should be like a 15-year character that you're going to develop.
I want him to.
Who would you guys like to see be Doctor Doom then?
I have somebody, and I saw this. Like I generally, like 90% of the time, I hate people's fan castings. I think generally when the internet is all about something like, oh, Keanu Reeves should play Ghost Rider, like get out of here. Like, oh my gosh, we go from Nicolas Cage to Keanu Reeves. Like, please no, get him away from Ghost Rider. Like, get out of here. No,
I don't want. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really want him in the MCU. Period.
Yeah, please. I mean, and if he has to be in it, not Ghost Rider, please. But I saw a fan casting for Doctor Doom, and I was like, interesting. Like, he's such a good actor. I really think it would work. And that is Cillian Murphy, who played the Scarecrow in Batman Begins.
I could see that.
I still rather have him be Nightmare.
No, he's perfect.
Nightmare's
He's perfect for
I remember,
Nightmare.
Lance saying that. Nightmare's absolutely.
Don't get me wrong. He's perfect for a Nightmare. But if he's not Nightmare...
What about touching on the range that we talked about a guy earlier, Gregor playing a young Doctor Doom?
Yeah. I could see that.
Like a mid-range guy. It's a guy like that. Let's see his range. We've seen both eccentrics. Now let's see that, the megalomaniac guy that's super intelligent, but he's obviously just a world dominator in his mind.
He could totally do it. I would totally be on board for that.
Yeah, I think he could pull it off.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be upset.
And he's not in the MCU yet, right? In any way whatsoever.
Nope.
Correct?
Just Star Wars. Yeah, that would be awesome. Let's see here.
He'd be putting on his hood and cloak again too.
Oh.
Except it's green rather than brown this time.
Oh, instead of the Jedi. Yeah. Absolutely. So that was fun. We'll have to do this again. So one thing I wanted to do on this episode is I prepared a few fun questions for us. Because everyone gets to know us, through these various topics and stuff, but I just thought we'd have a few fun little questions. It was like, this is Nightcap Chat's, 1 year anniversary. So let's talk a little more about Nightcap Chat.
Let's be a little selfish.
Yes, we're going to be a little selfish here. This first one is really easy. It's not going to be any thinking. And I don't think we talked about this yet. So Ken, I'll start with you for this one. What was your first job?
Oh man. Like you want to go back to childhood, like a paper route type of stuff?
First job.
How far back?
The first one.
The penny saver. You guys remember the penny saver at all? Do you ever hear of that?
Yeah, I know the penny saver.
Yeah, dude. It was just like a newspaper that was free that we had to go hang on people's door handles. We had to get them, fold them up, put them in bags, and then bring them to all the different people that subscribed to it and put on their door handles. We couldn't throw it. We had to go put on their door handles because if they went and checked and saw there wasn't a door handle, they'd fire you as an 11-year-old. Isn't that insane? You're fired, 11-year-old. Luckily, I never got fired because I actually did go put them on every single door handle. But it was a lot of fun. Got on your bike and just more or less put a little, what do they call those? I can't remember what they call them, but it was like a strap, and you had the bag with
like a satchel.
In it. Yeah, and you just had like this big freaking pouch with papers in it, and you ride your bike and go up to the doorstep, put on the handle, and keep on going around. And
wow,
I can't remember how many papers we had to do per week. I want to say it was, I think as an 11-year-old, I had maybe about 60 to 70. So it wasn't a huge amount, but it was still something that was fun to get that little paycheck and go, okay, cash it and go buy G.I. Joe and Star Wars figures as a kid. Kind of like how I supplemented my toy collection as a kid was
nice.
With like, old penny saver checks of $14 per every 2 weeks, something stupid like that.
Yeah.
But too, it was fun. It was, remember a couple friends doing it in the neighborhood with us. It was just kind of, I don't know, it was our blast.
Very cool. How about you, Lance?
I think I'm right when I say this. I think my first job
You don't know what your first job was?
No, because I'm getting like my timelines all like messed up.
How many timelines do you have?
I don't know. And unfortunately I'm stuck in this one, quarantine. No, I'm just kidding. Delivering pizza.
Nice.
That was my first job when I was 16.
Oh, that's cool.
I think I was 16, maybe 15 and a half, 16, probably 16. So I think it was my senior year of high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, not really, but it was okay. I get to be like Peter Parker for a couple years. Actually, I did it for a couple years. I actually still delivered pizza while I was teaching.
Nice.
After work from teaching, I would go and then deliver pizza after work. It was terrible.
Hustler. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was actually delivering pizza while I was playing college baseball too. Actually, I had that job forever. I never wanted to. I didn't even like it, but I had a lot of no. I just didn't like delivering pizza, that part. But I liked like being at the work. Like it was fun.
Gotcha.
I enjoyed. I had fun with my boss. Like it was just a good time. Like and it was relaxed and it was extra money. It was saving up for a wedding and stuff like that at the time. So it was.
Nice.
It was
Yeah.
What about you, Blake?
My first job, I was a photographer it was kind of like a franchise place called I Sold It on eBay. So it was essentially, it was like a pawn shop kind of style store. Like people would come in like, I want to sell this on eBay, but we would list it for you. So I took the pictures. I think I was 16, 15, 16. I must have been 16. I was just excited to be a photographer. I I met the owner's ex-wife while at driving school because I got pulled over and got a ticket when I was 16. So I was able to take driving school and we just sat in the back and I don't know, we were talking and, I was going to school for media production and taking a photography class. And she mentioned her husband had this, or her ex-husband had this store and he was looking for a photographer. So I followed up and I got it, and it was fun. I learned more about eBay. Our dad, even did eBay and I would look on eBay for there and he would buy stuff for me. It's like I had eBay experience for a long time. It was fun. I mean, it started not doing that great. The economy started crashing shortly after that. But that was my first job. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. All right, so I got a couple more questions, but
It's funny. When I had my first job, the economy started crashing too.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so hard to make money because I was delivering pizza and gas in New York was $5 a gallon. So when I was going on a delivery, I was like, this better be a good tip because like, if it's not if they give me like $1 or $2, like it wasn't even worth me driving out there delivery. It was, that was rough.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep. Nope. I get that. I have other questions, but did any of you guys have any other questions to rotate in here? I thought did you say you had? Oh.
To ask each other?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question.
Okay.
Are you guys ready?
Yes.
All right. So I'll just ask Blade first. It's gonna be the same question for you, Ken. What like C-list superheroes do you think could pull off a big blockbuster movie?
Okay. Can I use an answer from 1998?
I don't know what that means, but sure.
Deadpool. I believed in Deadpool since 98, so that's not fair.
Okay, no, something else that has not been done.
Okay. Ken, do you have your answer? Because I might need a
dude. Well, my answers. Like I've repeated it over and over and over again. So I'm trying to think of something different.
Why? Because you're thinking Alpha Flight?
Not something that's not Alpha Flight.
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. I'm trying to think out of my box of not Alpha Flight. A C-lister, right? That's tough because Alpha Flight is almost a C- on that, dude.
Really? I was thinking B.
As much as I love Alpha Flight, it's like that.
I wouldn't say Alpha Flight's a B, but Alpha Flight's probably a C.
Huh.
Nice, dude. But like a character that I would say Plastic Man, because he's a police detective, and I said too, it's like that. To me, Plastic Man's more fascinating because everybody loves detective stories. And he started off in police comics back in the 1940s. And, you don't have to put the pink outfit on him or anything like that. But how cool would it be for him to kind of do an investigating and watching his arm just kind of stretch around to see a clue and then bring it back to take a look at it. And then all of a sudden put it back after investigating. The person who's investigating doesn't even know he was there. And that would be kind of a fun little crime noir C-lister movie to me, to see something like Plastic Man do this huge police crime movie would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I actually didn't even, I never even thought about that. That'd be a great idea.
I thought of somebody. I don't even know why it took me so long.
Okay.
Dazzler.
Dazzler would be awesome.
Her own movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's the only way you could kind of do a musical without doing a musical.
That's
Okay.
true.
I mean, you mean adding music in general into the
And having
MCU.
her sing it, and you can also kind of work into the story, not in a musical kind of way, but it's like almost a musical. I think it could be interesting if you did the right actress for it.
You could at least have an original, probably the first Marvel original soundtrack.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yes.
And you probably also want to have like a talented musician play it, like Lady Gaga, for example. Like I know I've said that before, but I mean, she's blonde. She's got the perfect look for it. She's legitimately a classically trained musician. Someone like that would be fantastic. And I don't want to hear your Taylor Swift fan casting, because no, that is garbage. She would be awful.
No.
So get out of here.
No. One person who I really want to see in the MCU that can sing,
Mm-hmm.
and I know who I want her to play because I've heard an interview with her and she's talking about like who her favorite characters are, because she's actually a comic book fan. She used to read comics growing up. Is Halsey. She's a huge comic book fan. She used to read SpiderMan growing up. And she can sing. And I was like, if there's an actress that I know of or a singer and she can play Black Cat any day, like she would be perfect for Black Cat.
I could see.
But if she wanted to do Dazzler, she definitely has the range to do Dazzler, and she could do it justice. I think that wouldn't be a bad pick.
Totally. She's played a character. She's played a superhero.
She has?
She's played
Who'd she
Wonder
play?
Woman in Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I'm curious. I don't know Halsey. I feel horrible.
Yeah.
Well, you should check out her music videos.
Yeah. Gosh, like I honestly don't listen to a ton of her music. I know I don't even want to name anything because I'm afraid I'm getting her mixed up with someone else.
She did Him and I. She did.
So you're saying that would be Dazzler? You're saying Halsey?
I think she could be Black Cat. I would like her for Black Cat. I think she'd be awesome.
Yeah, she totally could.
Very cool.
So Ken, did you have any questions, or because I've got another one too on deck.
Thinking of some earlier. Just see here. I was kind of thinking about what got you into comics as a kid. It was one of my favorites to always ask people.
I'll let you go first, unless
You
you're
want
not
me
ready.
to go first? I'm not ready. You want to?
Okay.
You can go.
I mean, I think it's an obvious question for me. I think it was, I grew up in the 90s. I grew up with the Batman animated series, the Spider-Man animated series, and the X-Men animated series. And those were just some of the best cartoons. Like I think that's what hooks me into comics. And the 89 Tim Burton Batman movie.
Absolutely.
I was born and like that existed, I think that came out a few months before I was born, or no, after. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Same year I was born.
Wow.
But I mean, like I first saw it when I was like 4, and Jack Nicholson's Joker, like terrified me. I remember having a nightmare about Jack Nicholson's Joker chasing me up the stairs. I don't know if I've told this story on Nightcap Chat before, but I remember him. He tied up my family. So they were all like tied up to chairs, and because we lived in a 3-family house. So like my aunt and my cousin lived on the bottom floor. My grandparents lived on the second floor, and we lived on the top floor. So he had everyone tied up, and he was chasing me up the stairs. And I opened up the door to the apartment and closed it, and I was holding it, and he was like slamming into it, trying to get to me. I remember that. That Joker traumatized me. Yeah, I think that's what got me into comics, was just all the superhero cartoons and movies. That had to.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard for our answers to be like that much different, since like we grew up in literally the same house. But between the X-Men and the Spider-Man TV series when I was a kid, I think those were like probably the biggest like influencers, I feel like, as far as like trying to like just get your mind going, like your imagination, like, wow, like this is so cool, like to help you get deeper into comics than just like reading a comic book, right? I think between that and like as a kid, just like playing HeroClix with like family,
and also
you know,
like
with
drawing the comics too.
Drawing comics,
because like we would do that. Like we would look at the art, like especially like on the cover, and like try to draw it. You know, and
even like drawing Dragon Ball Z stuff. But like I think also, you know, we used to go out. I don't know how often. I don't know, maybe once a month or something, or once a week, to comic book stores. You know, depending on the time of year it was. And I think it was also like a family thing for us too. Like cool. Me and Blade would, you know, we'd, you know, pretend fight, you know, superheroes, or us and our dad, we used to play HeroClix together. And so it was kind of like also like that family bonding time too, where it's like, oh, we're having fun with like the characters we love, and like we can like share them together. I think that's what kind of really got it into it. And then obviously, you know, characters are, you know, they get interesting as you get older. You see there's more depth into the characters. But I think that's really the biggest thing with like being able to grow up and share it with people that were close to you. That's what really, I think, made me really get into comic books. Like, oh, this is like a whole new universe that's like away from all the garbage in the world. Like, this is like our own little universe.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Ken?
Man, dude, it was a multitude of things. Like I said too, it was like once again, everybody goes through that cartoon phase. Like Spider-Man's Amazing Friends was a cartoon. I remember Spider-Man, Firestar, and Iceman.
Yeah.
And I remember multiple things kind of triggering off the comic book collecting for me. We loved G.I. Joe cartoons and G.I. Joe toys as a kid. And I had 3 stepbrothers at the time. And as I said too, as Lance said, it was so much more fun for me to collect with siblings that unfortunately weren't there for very long. My dad had a hard time being happy in marriages, but you know, that was neither here nor there. But some of my favorite things were when we'd go to Walden Books or 7-Eleven together to play video games like Star Wars and Spy Hunter, and then go over to the magazine rack to look for something I used to like called Cartoons Magazine. And I used to want to be a car designer as a kid, we talked about in the past. And Cartoons was like a Mad magazine of cars, like hot rods, like Hot Rod and Mad magazine mixed together into one thing. And I thought that was the coolest thing, like sitting there and looking at that for ideas of how to come up with car designs. And it was just like the different flames. Everything about it was artistic, and it was comic book culture. And so they had comics right below it. And it was something I saw the Spider-Man 258. I'm sure you guys heard me tell the story like 1,000,000,001 times.
Yep.
But seeing the black suit Spider-Man was like, what in the world is that? And you start flipping through and you just see this whole new version of Spider-Man you've never seen before on Spider-Man's Amazing Friends. And it just became like eye candy. Like, where's more? Where's more? You know, the Walden book turnstiles for the G.I. Joes triggered off the interest in comics, and just seeing that Spider-Man was the hook, line, and sinker of like, wow, dude, there's comics that we can get that we can trade with my brothers. You know what I mean? Everything was just like the perfect soup happening at one time. You had great cartoons, you had great toys, and then you had great ideas that the 1980s brought in comic books, with everybody getting new costumes. And new costumes was kind of bringing in the new generation that I was on the wave of getting into comics. And it was just, you know, it was everything that you could ever dream of creativity wise in one can of soup. You know what I mean?
You know what's funny that you're like how you explained the story, right? About like seeing the Spider costume. It never really occurred to me till like literally this moment. And maybe I'm just stupid for just not realizing this. But how much, because you know how like you see a comic book today and like the cover's like, wow, what an amazing cover. You open it up and you're like, this is completely different artwork. Now, obviously, like you can't put in that much time sometimes into like putting this amazing like mural on your cover and then do that through the entire comic. Like that would take way too much time. I get it. But how much is comic books just clickbait now? Like when you see a cover of a comic, you're like, what is that? Like, it's just literally like virtual click, like in real life clickbait. You just grab it and it's just making you click it. It's no different than the internet having like, oh, this is interesting. Let me click on that. It's the same exact thing. I know it always, but it never really occurred to me until just now how I feel like it is more so now than it was then.
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean?
To me, comic covers were always like the movie poster of the medium. You know, you got to grab people's attention to get you to pick it up in the place. And back when I was starting, I would get ticked if there was a different artist on the inside of the book than was on the cover, because I was still in that tail end of cover creators doing the interiors of the book, like Todd McFarlane, John Byrne, Arthur Adams. If they did the cover, they were usually doing the whole book. And Arthur Adams, especially, because he was one of my favorite artists that was so good, he never got anything out on time. So all he would do is the super specials, the annuals, and miniseries. Like Longshot in the 80s was one of my top 5 favorite characters, and nobody says that anymore. Speaking of C-listers, there's a guy, Longshot, if you pull him into a movie, that would be something that would be a miracle in today's things, because he was created in 1985 during the Michael Jackson era. So he had the Michael Jackson outfit and the hockey party in the back, business in the front, mullet going there. Yeah. And he just would not work. In fact, Gambit destroyed the Longshot generation, because Gambit took on everything persona about Longshot, but he was brooding and cool and had a brown trench coat that never goes out of style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
But the artists were, to me, like, if I didn't see the same looking art on the inside of the book, I'd be like, you know what? This is just how would you call it? As you said, clickbait or cash grab. It's like, dude, I don't, for instance, New Mutants, Bill Sienkiewicz did these amazing covers on New Mutants back in the 80s. And you get inside, but they were painted covers on the inside. Just the newsprint didn't do the justice that Sienkiewicz was able to do with the painted covers. And he couldn't paint everything inside that book. I mean, it was just poor quality pulp paper, couldn't hold the artistic ability. Could you imagine Alex Ross back in the 1980s? He wouldn't be able to do it because the quality of paper wasn't good enough yet.
Huh.
It was just, it wouldn't have that same appeal as what he does now.
Yeah. Like some older comics though, like their covers have nothing to do with the story, Oh,
absolutely.
I mean, I remember one of my earliest encounters with that, like growing up, our dad had a like almost every Thor comic. And I think it was a Journey into Mystery cover. And I think it was like Balder and like some other Asgardians, and I think they were on like the Rainbow Bridge or something, and Mjolnir was in the foreground, and there was a hand reaching down to grab it. And like it was Balder and like some other people that were like, stop him. If he is to pick up Mjolnir and possess the power of Thor, the world will be destroyed. And I was like, Dad, who is that? And he's like, it has nothing to do with anything. And I was like, oh. something along the lines of that. So I mean, talk about clickbait.
That's wow.
That had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got another question.
Okay.
Which actor would you want to play you in the movie about your life?
Oh my gosh.
I'll go first if you guys need a second.
I'll go first. Matt Damon.
Huh. I could see that.
Right? I feel like he could do me some justice. I think there's like some similarities.
You guys have a similar kind of nose thing going on.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like we have similar like nose. I think he's done like athletic things enough that I feel like I'd be comfortable with him like pulling off some things about me. Yeah. And I trust him to get into like be decent. Like I've seen him in Jason Bourne. Like he does that.
Okay, Jason Bourne.
I'm not saying I'm a secret spy. I didn't tell you. But you know what I mean? Because like my stuff's sports. And I just feel like
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Ken, are you ready for your answer?
I can't even think. Let me see.
I'll go if you need another second.
Yeah, I don't know if I could convince any actor to take the job.
Oh, stop.
Blade, if you say Liam Neeson, I'm gonna.
I was going to say it as a joke.
I know, dude. You'll know this answer. Liam Neeson.
Like, I need Liam Neeson to play me. I've been told I looked like a few actors before, but none of them I really believed until I was compared to James McAvoy with a beard.
Oh, nice.
And he's got blue eyes and a beard, so I mean that would be cool. If
I got a question,
McAvoy is up for the job, yeah.
What actor do you guys see playing me then? Let's see.
You're so unique, Ken.
Joe Pesci.
Could you? No, Joe Pesci's too funky looking.
I can't see Joe Pesci running a comic shop.
That's true. What are you doing? You're just gonna walk out.
On a comic.
What makes this comic so funny? Is it the way it looks? Is it drawn?
I got somebody. I got
a comic for you right here.
I got somebody.
Yeah.
Marlon Brando.
Oh shit. Okay, dude.
No, why not?
Wow.
Why not? I mean, he's too old.
Yeah, I know, dude.
We're saying a younger Marlon Brando.
Oh, Jay Leno. I got their chin.
No, Marlon Brando.
Mm-hmm. Marlon Brando. That'd be cool.
That's who I just realized for you.
I asked my wife this question last.
Yes.
And I don't know how we got onto the topic because I think I asked her whatever, but she told me, and I don't think it's but she said for Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, that's cool. It's a good name.
I don't know. No, right? I think Matt Damon would be like a better.
You see both.
I feel good about Matt Damon for you. And Marlon Brando. Yeah.
Wow.
I feel really good about that.
Oh my gosh. I think I'm trying to think of the actor's name. I feel so bad.
What about Tom Hanks?
He's way too short.
Tom Hanks.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
Well, Ken, how tall are you?
I'm kidding. I was joking. He's probably perfect height.
Tom Hanks would be interesting, not from a looks thing, but I think he could pull you off.
Yeah, Tom Hanks can pull anybody.
Such a good actor. Yeah, I mean, he could pull all of us.
Yeah, exactly. Tom Hanks doesn't fall. Right?
Tom Hanks could play all of us.
Did you see Saturday Night Live the other day?
No.
Where he did. He hosted Saturday Night Live when they were doing kind of like what we're doing, is everybody was doing their bit from their home.
I read about it.
Yeah, it was like it was pretty cool. Some of it was like just hard to pull off, and some of it they did a really good job at the acting in it. But Tom Hanks got to do the opening monologue from his kitchen, and it was kind of fun. He did a couple different things of him asking questions to people in the audience that were watching when there was nobody there, and he just put up get-ups of him being like, gosh, dude, I can't remember. Like one was like an Irish guy, and one was like another person that was just a military guy, and I can't remember who exactly they were, but he was just dressing up, taking segments, and then answering his own questions, which was pretty Tom Hanks-ish. Should say like the range and what he could do with himself, even for a skit for Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, Tom Hanks is another good one.
I have one.
You have what?
I can't think. I have a. How about Ray Stevenson?
Oh, yeah.
It just hit. I was like, Ray Stevenson.
They have similar like noses.
Noses, yeah. That's really what it is. They have the same nose.
I'm not sure who Ray Stevenson is.
He played the Punisher the second time.
Oh, okay.
And he was Volstagg.
Oh, it was Volstagg too?
But, I mean, you couldn't really tell it was him because he had so much makeup
like prosthetics
on.
Yeah, fat suit.
Back when I was younger, back in high school, people said I looked like Emilio Estevez. I'm going, what? I don't quite get it, but that's what back when I was in high school, people used to say Emilio Estevez. I'm not getting it, but okay.
I'm really sold on your face as Ray Stevenson, though. I
think that's like,
and hey, like that's pretty good. I think.
Yeah, Ray Stevenson's good. Yeah.
I mean, if somebody compared me to Ray Stevenson, I would definitely be happy with that.
Pretty awesome. I'll take that.
Cool. That was fun. All right. Do you guys? What?
Yeah, I'm remembering some of the crazy offbeat questions I was thinking about earlier.
Okay.
What's your favorite breakfast cereal?
I already have my answer for this, and this is the best breakfast cereal.
Yes.
I'll literally lose friendships over it, so I'm ready.
Okay. So what is it?
And let's make it a two-part question. Now and then when you were 8.
It's the same answer.
Okay, cool.
This is
Fruity Pebbles.
Nice.
Fruity Pebbles is the greatest cereal ever. It's amazing.
I can see that because I used to like Cocoa Pebbles because it made the best chocolate milk. But Honeycomb was mine until they changed the formula. Because when I was a kid, dude, they were allowed so much more sugar in cereals. Then something the FDA said, dude, you're corrupting kids. They're getting all diabetes like me now.
Wow.
And so Honeycomb
Honeycombs
is the formula tastes nothing like it did when I was a kid. Like I can't even touch honeycomb.
Interesting.
And it's just like that, dude. This is nowhere near sweet. Like, why did they stop sweetening this? They go, oh, I get it. It's like they can't pass that much sugar in cereal anymore.
You know what's really sweet?
Is what?
Fruity Pebbles.
Exactly. My second favorite was Cocoa Pebbles because I can make chocolate milk out of anything that I made, like with a bowl of cereal on it.
Huh. Man,
How about you, Blake?
You guys have such conviction about your
I
cereals.
will fight this. And
I have multiple favorite cereals. Yeah, I mean, I'd have a really hard time narrowing it down, but it's a toss-up between Cocoa Puffs, Special K.
What? You like Special K? That's amazing. I'm impressed.
Special K is awesome.
Special K is my top 3, probably, or top 4.
Smart
Wow.
Star.
Okay.
I also really like Reese's Puffs.
Nice.
I think those are my top 4.
I honestly think you need to like sit down with like 4 bowls, and I think you need to come to like that conclusion. I'm honestly like, I personally think like this needs to be done. And if we do it as an episode, I'm fine with that.
I know,
But
dude.
like this needs to happen.
Well, Reese's is not in the top 3 for sure, but it's definitely my top 3 are Cocoa Puffs, Special K, Smart Start. I also really like there's Quaker Oats.
Oh yes.
Quaker
Those are
Oats
good.
squares or something.
Yes.
Those are different now. They're smaller than they used to be, and they're not the same. They changed it.
Talking about sugar contents had to drop.
Yeah.
Right?
And there's this cereal you can't like even find it anymore. It was Eggo cereal.
Oh, I
They were like
remember those.
little waffles. Like nobody has them, but you can maybe find them like at one store.
Yes.
Those were oh my gosh. Also, Cookie Crisps are awesome.
I thought you were gonna say Cookie Crisp, and I was about to be like, come on.
Cookie Crisps, I love Cookie Crisps, even though they changed at some point as well.
They did. They don't taste as good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like all the contents, ingredients had to change.
Cinnamon Life is also one of my favorites.
Ooh, that's good too.
You know what one of my favorites is?
I love cereal.
It might be my second. My second, I think, is Kix. I loved Kix as a
Cakes
kid.
are good.
Ooh, yes.
They're so
Kix
good.
Was the sugar like the cereal that you had to get that had lower sugar content? We always went Kix.
It's so
That
good.
little sugar taste to it with the corn was unbelievable.
And I love Cheerios.
Yeah, Honey Nut Cheerios was my favorite too.
Yeah, a little bowl of Cheerios, that's good. I'm solid. I love Special K probably more than Cheerios, but for some reason, I can't eat Special K anymore, and I don't know what's in it. I'm fine with like every other cereal, but it makes me sick every time I eat it. I get like a really bad stomach cramp and stomach ache. I have no idea why, but I love Special K.
That sucks. Maybe it's like
I got another question that's popping in my head too. Speaking of food,
Okay.
yeah, when you were a kid, what was your favorite kind of sandwich to make for yourself?
To make for myself?
For myself, yeah, I don't think we
just
ever.
sandwich?
Just either way, both.
When I was a kid, I think it was salami sandwiches because like I always had salami sandwiches. Like there was like years, it was only just salami sandwiches. Like I always had salami sandwiches. Like even to the point where like I somehow forgot about one in like 6th or 7th grade, and like my desk was just like a mess. Like it's filled with books and papers, and like when we were cleaning out at the end of the year, I remember I found a salami sandwich in the back. It must have been there for months. It was like hard, but also moldy at the same time. You know, it was really gross.
My favorite, I think it has when I was a kid, has to be roast beef. A roast beef sandwich.
That's
with
my
a little
favorite
cheese
now.
and mayonnaise.
Yes.
Really? I can't. I don't really. Because we're just talking about like cold cuts, right?
Anything. Because I said too, mine's kind of offbeat, and I can't eat them anymore.
okay,
I ate them too much as a kid.
Because I have a favorite like sandwich that's like a sub, like a hero kind of a thing. I don't know how to like my favorite sandwich by far, even today, and when I was a kid, was a chicken parm sub or hero.
Nice.
That was my favorite. I would take that over roast beef any day. But if that's what we're talking about, if we're talking about just cold cuts, then roast beef.
Okay. Mine.
Yeah,
Go
no,
ahead.
go on.
Okay, mine was kind of weird because, like I said too, is that I loved like peanut butter and I loved honey, but I was not a big fan of bread because I can't stand soggy bread. And so
Okay.
what I would do is I would toast the bread and put peanut butter and honey on it, and that would be like the easiest things. I didn't have to depend on any parent to make it for me. So if it was like, okay, it's like that, being a latchkey kid for a little bit at times too as well. Because once again, my dad was married 3 times. And so there were times he was single too. So came home from work or school, made a peanut butter and honey sandwich and sat there and watched like, G.I. Joe, Voltron or whatever was on.
I've never eaten that.
After school cartoons. And
I might have to try it at my next PB&J.
Magical. Yeah. If you like honey, you can't beat it, dude. Peanut butter and honey is like the peanut butter and chocolate of sandwiches.
I love because when I make my peanut butter, because there's nothing worse than like if you eat peanut butter jelly and you bite it and then the jelly like squirts out through the middle because it breaks. So I hate that. My wife made me a couple peanut butter and jelly sandwiches like back when we first started dating. And I was like, wow, this keeps like not happening. And then I realized when she makes it, she puts peanut butter, like a thin layer of peanut butter on both sides of the bread. And it's a layer to stop the jelly from squirting through. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is genius.
Yes.
So she's changed like the way I make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but also sometimes I'll take bananas and just, you take little slices of bananas and put it in there and have like a peanut butter jelly and banana sandwich. It's so good.
Yes, that's like it works with peanut butter, honey, banana too. Because I'm not a big banana fan, but if you put peanut butter, honey, banana together, something about it just clicks. And as I said too, it was just like bread, toast, peanut butter, honey, and I was done. I was like, okay, cool. I'm good till dinner gets home.
And if anyone's listening and you want to take comment, be like, wow, I've never made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, peanut butter on both sides. Please let me know because like it blew my mind and like changed my world. But I'm gonna try it toasted because I've never even thought about like toasting peanut butter, any type of peanut butter sandwich. I have to try that now because I love toasting just like a regular, like if I'm having like a roast beef, to me, there's nothing better than like a warm bread toasted with like cold mayonnaise. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's another thing too, is I can't stand having bread stuck to the roof of my mouth either. And so that's another reason why you like toasting bread too, is like there's nothing worse than trying to like dig the bread off the roof of your mouth after eating like a soggy sandwich. And so I was not a big bread fan unless it was like garlic toast. That was like the one thing I could just down like there's no tomorrow. It was like, what? Cheesy garlic toast? Keep it coming. All you can eat.
I'm down to anything with cheese and garlic on it. I mean,
those are like the magic 2 words of bread: cheese and garlic.
Garlic bread sandwiches.
Oh my gosh, dude. I can feel my cholesterol climb. It's wonderful.
Yes. Okay. It's running a little long. Probably wrap it. Do you guys have any other questions?
I've got more, but go ahead.
Yeah, shoot.
If you got one more interesting one, like mine are not that great.
What was your favorite primetime show to watch as a kid?
Easy. Easy.
Go, Blake.
Seinfeld.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Seinfeld.
I mean,
it has to be.
You're right.
I would watch, I don't even know how many times I've already seen Seinfeld. I would watch Seinfeld forever. I'm not sure a lot of people would even understand that now, but like it's got to be Seinfeld. I mean, as far as prime time TV, I don't even watch regular TV anymore, especially in today's crazy age of here's the whole season of whatever on Netflix. Yeah, it's got to be Seinfeld. Like that was, I don't know, maybe it's because we're from New York. Like I don't know what it is, but Seinfeld. No, it's got to be Seinfeld.
Yeah, it has to be Seinfeld for me too. Seinfeld was just, I've seen every episode of the entire show multiple times as a kid. Like such a classic. There's nothing else to say. I mean,
so how about you? I'm assuming yours isn't Seinfeld.
I kind of got 2. Like one's a sitcom and one's an action show.
Okay.
Like the sitcom was Cheers.
Classic.
The action show was Knight Rider, hands down. I could not wait for Friday night at 7 p.m. to hit every week because it was the end of the school week. And it was, the first show going into primetime television for Friday night. And, the last season they moved it to Sundays, which is going, it's like the doomsday clock of television schedules is being on Sundays at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So that's when you knew the show was getting canceled. So it was kind of a little bit depressing, but it's weird. I remember sitting in front of the TV every Friday night, every Sunday night to watch Knight Rider, which blows me away. That you remember little stupid things like that growing up. And then Cheers was like me and my dad, like I'd have to watch the 6 p.m. news with him. And then it got me into the Cheers repeats, which got me into the new episodes because they're still creating new episodes at that time. And so I got to see like the Shelley Long episodes and the Kirstie Alley episodes at the same time. So you'd like watch after 6 o'clock news, you'd get the classic stuff. And then on the Thursday nights, if I remember correctly, it was at 8 p.m. You got to see the new episodes of Cheers as well on NBC. So
interesting.
It was kind of a fun wave. I think the store itself, I try to include a lot of Cheers elements because of how much Cheers I watched growing up with my dad and eating TV dinners and, you know, just sharing that time laughing. He hated Frasier, which was hilarious because
I loved
Frasier. Psychologist. And my dad thought everything that he did was such bullshit. Excuse my friend.
Occupational hazard.
Psychologist. I go, Dad, it's a freaking comedy. Get over it. And like he was so insecure and so like over analyzing everything. My dad thought that was insulting to psychologists. So we'd like sit there, I'd troll him on it while watching Cheers.
He was so close to it, he couldn't enjoy it.
So funny, Dad. This is great.
Oh man, like he was so close to like the psychology, like he just couldn't like separate it and enjoy it. That's really funny. I liked Frasier more than Cheers.
Oh yeah, I did too.
Young.
Yeah, because it's a fun show too.
I had I think it was always on after WB11 after the news. It was always it was like Frasier or Cheers, and then it ended up being the Honeymooners after, or Gilligan's Island, or both. And that was what I used to go to sleep to every night. I used to go to sleep to Cheers, Frasier, Gilligan's Island, or Honeymooners. And I probably would end up staying because I had sleeping problems when I was a kid. I could never go to sleep. And I couldn't sleep if there wasn't noise. So like I always had to have a TV on, but I would just watch all those. So I loved all those shows as a kid. But I think one of the things that like, because like you were saying, like you came home, you couldn't wait to watch after work. I think I might speak for both of us, me and Blade, like Dragon Ball Z, when Dragon Ball Z was on, we would come home and be like, oh, the episode's on at 5 o'clock. We would make sure we watch it, and we'd watch whatever was on before it just to make sure we didn't miss anything. And then sometimes we watch whatever was on after it. But Dragon Ball Z was also one of those shows that like I had to watch when I was a kid, and we didn't want to miss a single episode. That and Pokemon on the weekends. I think it was probably Sunday mornings. I think Pokemon would come on, right?
Well, it would also, sometimes we would watch it before school. Sometimes like it was like the perfect time where we could eat breakfast, watch Pokemon, and go to school. And like it's funny you bring that up because while I've been in isolation, I've been watching the first 2 seasons of Pokemon. It's like it was like comfort show, like comfort food kind of a thing. You know what I mean? Like it was just like a simpler time, and like I know it's pure nostalgia, but like I'm just enjoying it. Like it is just so good. Like I don't know if like today's kids would maybe enjoy it as much, but I'm already like almost done with season 2 now, and there's like over 50 episodes a season. Like that's all I've been doing. I have a really funny Cheers, not fact, but I have a funny thing about Cheers. Cheers has been around since before I was born. I think it originally came out in 1982, if I'm reading this correctly. So like when it was on, like John Ratzenberger's character, Cliff, he was always like at the bar, and I remember his belly being like right up against it. But from the specific episodes and scenes I first saw, I thought he was like stuck there. Like I thought he was like in the bar, like he couldn't move. And I remember asking my mom like why is he attached to the bar? And like, what do you mean? He's just sitting there.
I love how he had a running tab. He never paid a cent for any beer that was in there until the season finale. He settled up finally, or not the series finale. That was awesome.
I remember that. That was one of the first things that confused me about Cheers.
Oh man, I said too. Woody Harrelson got his start on Cheers. Ted Danson, obviously,
what a phenomenal actor.
Yes,
George Wendt was on there.
Yeah, George Wendt, Kirstie Alley. It was such a magical cast that everybody just kind of fit together like Lego pieces.
Kelsey Grammer, and Grammer and Woody Harrelson both went on to Marvel franchises.
Oh yes, right.
And so like that's pretty crazy to think about. Yeah.
And a lot of those shows, I feel like not too many times you have a show that's that big.
Yes.
And you have those actors end up going on to do big things, I feel like.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because the show that you think would have that same chemistry where a lot of the actors fizzled out after the show was over was Friends.
Friends and even Seinfeld's I think a little different because I also like none of those actors I think needed to do anything after that point, except for obviously Jerry Seinfeld. I mean, he's just the show was famous because of him, and then it just ended up being amazing. But yeah, Friends. All it had really after that was Jennifer Aniston was big. That's
because Joey.
Everyone else was like, eh.
Yeah, like that show was it Joey or whatever it was called afterwards.
Yeah, and that bombed.
Yeah.
That's another thing about Cheers is Cheers also had a successful spinoff.
Yes, Frasier, right?
Yeah. How many successful spin-off shows have there been on top of just like successful show? Like they're
Happy Days
far between. Happy Days is the only other one I can think of.
Yeah, like Laverne and Shirley and Mork and Mindy spun off the Happy Days back in the day.
But besides that, there's really it rarely happens. I think this is about time to wrap this up. Just short of 2 hours for our 1 year anniversary special.
Called a double-sized special, like in comics back in the day.
Yes.
Oh.
Double-sized anniversary issue.
Is it? Can you make it make sure it's 96 minutes? It's like 96 pages. It was always 96 pages, right?
Dude.
96 minutes, supersized special.
Dude, when I was a kid, I loved that the double-sized issues were never double the price, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was 60 cents, but it was $1 for the double-sized issue. So you felt like you got so much more for those double-sized issues for your money.
Yeah, it's bang for the buck for sure.
Yes.
But yeah, this has been great. This has been a great year. Thank you guys once again for being a part of this. I could not have done it without either of you. This has been so much fun. I look forward to what an even better, next year's worth of episodes. And thank you all out there listening for allowing us to do this. Whether you were, like I said, whether you're here from the beginning or just getting into it now, like I see you guys listening. I appreciate you taking the time to like, share, subscribe. You have any ideas for upcoming episodes, let us know on social media, Facebook, Twitter, it's at Nightcap Chat, or Instagram at Nightcap_chat, or you can email us nightcapchat@gmail.com. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, Castbox, and just we're on even other things that I'm not even aware of. Ken?
Yeah, it's like that. We're still part of DrawnyComics.com, doing Instagram, Facebook, and now I guess obviously eBay to get the time frame. I do have one thought I wanted to say earlier too as well is that can we all agree, all three of us agree that 2021 is going to be the greatest year ever?
Yes.
After experiencing what we experienced in 2020, there's no way after this we're not going to all have great years because we've more or less survived what's supposedly the most strange time in Earth history. The whole world in the same boat, which to me is unbelievably epic. Most everything we've dealt with in the past has been each internationally isolated. Mm-hmm. And now it's the whole world in this together is kind of really redeeming as a way of that, hey, we got to appreciate each other that much more after this is all said and done because we've been isolated, and if you don't like people, then you're happy as a clam, but we're social beings. And I think this is going to be a lot of fun once this is all over and we get to really appreciate what we missed with each other.
Yeah, I think the perspective from this is going to be great. I think it's going to look back at it and you're going to be thankful for it. I think anytime anything happens, you always have to be thankful for whatever it was because you don't know what could have transpired out of that. And you just always try to find the positive things, right? Yes. Glass isn't half empty, it's half full. And I think, I agree with you. I think that there's gonna be a lot of positive things that come out of this and, don't take things for granted and, live your life to the fullest and all that stuff. Right. Yes. And as much as, sometimes you don't want to hang out with people, it sucks when you are forced to not be able to hang out with people, because I know me and Blade, I know for you too, I don't know how many times it's been getting texts from friends and we're just he's like, oh, let's go hang out. And I'm just dude, I don't feel like doing anything. I'm going to say, I'm literally going to say anything. Yeah, I'm not doing anything. Sorry. Now it's let's go do whatever. I'm down. I'm game for whatever. I think the perspective is definitely going to change for a lot of people, not just for myself, but I think for a lot of people.
Yeah. And they're, focus on the good because a lot of good can come out of this. And, things are still functioning, make the best out of your situation, learn a new skill, finish that video game you never finished. Doesn't even have to be super productive. There's things to do. There's ways to be productive. There's ways to be a good person. There's ways to help out. there's ways to better yourself, with skills, whether it's in your job or personal life, like you don't know how to cook or whatever it is, like you can be productive, like get something out of this. Like this is the opportunity, like this is the time to hustle,
Yes.
like, I'm self-employed, if I just stop doing things, I do not get paid, like I did not stop. Like I'm out there and I'm actively, doing what I need to do to complete my work and make my clients happy and like find more work, because like the world is still fluctuating. Ken, like you're doing stuff on eBay, right? Like you got stuff on eBay, like people need entertainment.
Out driving around delivering people their comics. I mean, that's been, like I said too, talking about once again doing like the pizza delivery earlier. I mean, man, dude, my second job was Domino's Pizza. And going back a little bit, and unfortunately they weren't allowed to deliver till you turned 18. And so it was kind of fun seeing all the different drivers come back and talk about their stories of the different people they had to deliver pizza to. And I never had a chance to experience that. And now it's kind of fun. I feel like that I'm getting that second opportunity to experience the joy of people seeing you bring them their comics to their door. And that's kind of like a fun thing too. That's keeping me going through this whole thing. Is like, yeah, it's a lot of driving around and a lot of like, luckily traffic's nothing right now, which is, I mean, I love sports radio, but when there's no sports to talk about, it gets really boring listening to sports radio really quickly. And it's been cool too, because Susan's been coming with me a lot on these rides too. And it's more bonding time outside of the store and outside of the house, even though we're still isolated in the car.
Yep.
So it's good to see what's going on in the world and seeing the skies be more clean and clear than I've ever seen in Phoenix in like 20 years. Mm-hmm. Because the one thing I hate saying was, I mean, I don't mean to be negative in any way, but I was kind of getting sick of seeing the smog over the mountains, because we have beautiful mountains here in Arizona. And over the past few years, it was kind of getting like a little bit where I didn't want to be in Phoenix anymore, because it was just so dirty looking at the sky. Not because I grew up out here and I loved seeing the mountains for all of their glory. My dad was a huge mountain climber, going hiking, and went up into like, the camping a lot. And it was just something that we did a lot when I was a kid. And as I was getting a little bit older, it was kind of frustrating seeing Phoenix kind of get mucky. Do you know what I mean? Where it wasn't as beautiful as it used to be.
Yeah.
And now just the past 2 to 3 weeks going outside, I'm going, oh my gosh, dude, everything's gorgeous again. And it's amazing to see just how this past 2 to 3 weeks of people just not driving as much makes all that difference in the atmosphere.
Yep.
Hopefully that's another learning experience we'll get too, is like, hey, let's find alternative ways to travel. Do you know what I mean? More just kind of, as I said too, I don't know what that means, the big picture of things, but it's been gorgeous to see beautiful days during the downtrodden ways that we're thinking about society right now.
It's been unfortunate almost that the weather's been so nice, because like, I mean, because a couple of years ago we had some really hot springs, and now the weather is beautiful. Like I noticed when I let the dogs out, like no one's going anywhere to enjoy anything, unfortunately. But I mean,
we'll just get out there and walk. We've been walking a lot too as well. I know it sounds like
I'll be honest. I was trying to go on walks for a while, but when the weather gets nice, there's bees everywhere, and it stresses me out so bad. Like I can't, like it freaks me out. Like I have to come inside. It's like my neighborhood has all of these blooming flowers everywhere, and there's just bees. There's bees on everything. Like you can make fun of me, but there's bees everywhere.
You can walk in the street. There's no one driving.
No, even in the street, like they fly across the street. Between all I can't do it. I need to order like a punching bag or something. I'm gaining weight. Yeah. I do need exercise.
Or you need a beehive. A
bee suit.
A bee suit. Just walk around.
like the Bubble Boy or something.
You know what's great though? Like about the whole like staying home is like I get my wife's pregnant, right? She's halfway through. But I get to be with her like through the whole pregnancy. So like, if she needs something and have rough days.
Cut out.
Oh,
if
sorry.
She needs something, what?
If she needs something like, make food, or she's not feeling well, but she's working from home, which is great because, her job's allowing her to do that. But it's been so much easier for her for the process, because she's been sick through the entire pregnancy. Like she's just had, morning sickness and all that stuff. So it's actually been like kind of like a blessing to us, for us at least, that, I can take care of her and I'm always here if anything happens, good. So yeah, I mean, there's some positives out of this, you know.
Yeah, a lot of places are figuring out like that people can work from home, and it's really easy.
Yeah,
my wife works from home. My wife works from home too. And it's nice to have lunch breaks.
Yeah,
and I'll actually take a lunch break because usually I'll work through lunch and then it's like too late to eat lunch, so I just keep working anyway. So like I'll actually, step aside and eat lunch, which is good and bad, I guess.
Yeah. It's never bad to get nutrients.
Yes. Yeah, no, I guess so. I'm so used to eating once a day. I think that's why I'm gaining weight. I keep eating lunch now. But yeah, I mean, just make the most of it, and we'll get through this together.
And you know what the best thing is? The fact that I've been able to stream a lot more, and I'm now just a handful of followers away from being affiliated. And if you guys want to come by and follow me and get me over that hump to be affiliated, come see me at twitch.tv/Tales of Lassen and hang out, and we can have some fun.
Yep. And Ken, little bit about you and Drona Comics.
Yeah, so it was supposed to be the 15th anniversary. Well, it is the 15th anniversary of Drona Comics this year.
Oh.
I mean, April was officially 15 years we've been open.
Happy 15 years! Yay!
We're going to have a 2.0 version of it in 2021.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To kind of do that celebration, and it's we're still going to be here. That's just the bottom line. Is like it's a change, but it's a community. And I said, like, I feel like we're kind of on a retreat from each other. It kind of sucks in a lot of ways, and it makes me appreciate how much you love what you do. And I can't wait to get back to normal on it again. But normal's going to be different from here on forward, because we're going to appreciate each other that much more. I mean, dude, I said too, that sounds like I'm playing a broken record here, but you don't know how much you love something until it gets taken away from you, and not being able to open the doors and welcome people in. And no matter how high any customer is, it's better than the alternative. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of like Cheers. Once again, too, is like when that competing bar showed up to beat him in the basketball games with Kevin McHale and all the ringers. It's like, yeah, dude, you can't stand sometimes that your competition gets on your nerves, but at the same time, it sure beats the alternative of you still have your own culture. That is your culture, no matter what any other competition does. And that's their culture. Right. So it kind of makes you appreciate the fact of that. It's not as much about who else is there around you fighting for customers anymore. It's how much you love doing what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing too, is that every community has their own culture, and I'm never going to appreciate my community more than after this whole thing is done, which is really kind of surreal about how much you miss everybody, no matter how annoying they are at that moment. It's you know what I mean? The 99% of our, but there's always that 1% that I even miss them too as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally get it. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Like, sometimes you never realize how good you have it, But yeah, I mean, follow Drona Comics on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Drona Comics, right? All one word, because they're going to be reopening ASAP, and it's going to be great. What's the eBay store is not called Drona Comics though, right?
It is. Yeah, it's Drona Comics as well. Yeah,
Drona Comics, all one word?
Yep. Yeah, exactly the way it's spelled. It's just all one word. I don't have those little hashtag marks underneath them or anything like that. Just straight Drona Comics.
Yep, a lot of fun stuff on there, because we can only virtually shop right now. So pop on eBay and let's make some good things happen. I've been trying to stay off of there a little bit myself. Like, I'm trying not to get in trouble, because I honestly I miss shopping. I'm trying to avoid eBay and Amazon, but I'm probably gonna cave here pretty soon.
Can I plug one more thing that I'm doing with the eBay thing?
Absolutely.
And we've been doing a lot of listings where there's the main featured book, but I'm doing +5 free comics and free shipping as well.
Nice.
So they start off at $19.99, and you get 5 books plus free shipping. And the highlight book is the one that you see that you're purchasing.
Mm-hmm.
But the other 5 books are pretty awesome. I don't know if you've seen some of the different pictures I've been posting of the feature book, but then those other 5 books are in the background.
Yep.
Nobody's paying a cent for those.
Yep.
And that's just something I was trying to contribute to. Hey, if you have to stay home and be isolated, you want to read comics, I'm going to send you cool stuff to read. I'm not just going to send you the junk that nobody wants to read.
Yeah, I've been seeing that, and it's always fun. Like I've come across eBay listings once in a while. Like they're like, oh, they throw in a free book, and it's like, oh, cool, and you're going to read it, like, and it's fun, and especially now, like, who doesn't want some extra comics, like,
yes,
this is the time to read, this is the time
to catch up on everything.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
thank you for letting me throw that in there too.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all, those of us who are blessed to still be working and have a job, as much as anyone can support, any local businesses, comic shops, restaurants, or anything, like, I mean, like, yes. I think it's a duty to do our part to, keep these things going, because we want these things to exist when this is all over, yes. It's not always easy for small businesses, but like, I mean, like, we got to unite and do what we can. And I think that's really important. But yes, on a lighter note, we appreciate you all taking the time to listen to us. Thank you for joining us for our 1-year anniversary special. And we look forward to an even greater 20 to 2021 year. But thank you all for listening, and we will catch you next week.
Yes.
Have a good week.